गया है बुक बज़ का, और एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जिसमें कुछ पुस्तकों का लोकार्पण होता है। तो उसमें कल भी कुछ पुस्तकों का लोकार्पण किया गया था। और पहली पुस्तक रिफ्लेक्शंस ऑफ रामसेवक, उसका लोकार्पण हम करने जा रहे हैं। मैं मैडम से निवेदन करूंगा कि मैडम मंच पर आएं। पुस्तक के लेखक अनिरुद्ध तिवारी जी, आप मंच पर आए, और आपके परिजन, आपके परिवार के सदस्यगण जो विशेष तौर पर इस खास कार्यक्रम के लिए आए हैं। करण अवतार जी, फॉर्मर CS पंजाब। करण अवतार जी, आप भी मंच पर तशरीफ लाएं। अफान यसवी साहब, आप भी तशरीफ ले आएं। रिफ्लेक्शंस ऑफ रामसेवक, इस पुस्तक का सबसे पहले लोकार्पण हम करेंगे। अनिरुद्ध तिवारी जी की लिखी ये पुस्तक है। और अनिरुद्ध जी आइए, मंच पर आइए, सभी आपकी प्रतीक्षा कर रहे हैं। तालियां जोरदार होनी चाहिए। भारतीय प्रशासनिक सेवा का 30 साल से ज्यादा का अनुभव अनिरुद्ध तिवारी साहब को है, और गीता और रामचरितमानस पर शोध करते हुए उन्होंने पुस्तक लिखी है जिसका लोकार्पण आज होगा। तिवारी साहब ने पंजाब सरकार में मुख्य सचिव और पंजाब ब्यूरो ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रमोशन के CEO सहित बहुत से महत्वपूर्ण पदों पर काम किया है। आजकल आप महात्मा गांधी स्टेट इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन पंजाब में महानिदेशक के पद पर काम कर रहे हैं, और उनकी ये पुस्तक जिसका विमोचन अभी अभी होगा, रिफ्लेक्शंस ऑफ रामसेवक, बहुत ही खास मौका एक रचनाकार के लिए होता है। बहुत मेहनत के साथ एक पुस्तक तैयार होती है, बहुत श्रम उसमें लगता है, बहुत धैर्य उसमें लगता है, और वो वक्त आता है जब सबके सामने लोकार्पण उसका होता है और इतने बड़े मंच पर होता है। जोरदार तालियां आप सबकी तरफ से। रिफ्लेक्शंस ऑफ रामसेवक, उसका लोकार्पण आपके सामने गीता और रामचरितमानस पर शोध करते हुए बहुत मेहनत के साथ ये पुस्तक लिखी गई है, तैयार हुई है, और आपसे निवेदन करते हैं कि ये यहाँ उपलब्ध है बिक्री के लिए। जाने से पहले आप इस पुस्तक को खरीदेंगे भी, और अनिरुद्ध तिवारी जी के ऑटोग्राफ भी आप ले लेंगे उसके ऊपर। आइए मैम।
I'm taking this opportunity to congratulate Anirudh, congratulate his whole family. And not only is he a brilliant IAS officer, he's also my batchmate and dear friend. And this is a very unique book which involves a lot of research and wisdom, drawing upon two of the most sacred texts in India, the Bhagavad Gita and the Ramcharitmanas. So, ladies and gentlemen, Reflections on Ramsewak is a must read, I think. And I will invite Anirudh to say a few words about the book, how he has written it, and what is unique about this book.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, a big thanks to my friend and batchmate Sumita, Karan sir, my mentor, Madhav ji, my family, for doing the honors, and thank you all for being here. Sumita has asked me to talk about the book a bit. So, as the title says, in this book, what I've tried to do is explore the intersection, the overlap, the mirroring of two of India's most sacred texts, Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Sri Ramcharitmanas. The attempt is to try and examine the eternity and the universality of these messages in these two texts. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, as you would know, is a part of the Mahabharata, which was composed sometimes between 1500 to 2000 BC. Shri Ramcharitmanas is a much later text. It was composed by Goswami Tulsidas Ji Maharaj during the reign of Akbar, which is close to 1580 is the time, 1577, 1580 is the time when it is ascribed to Ramcharitmanas. In fact, Tulsidas Ji himself gives us the date Samvat Sore Saik Tisa, 1631 Vikrami Samvat. That's what he writes in Ramcharitmanas. Now, what I've tried to do is to look at some of the concepts. I mean, Ramcharitmanas is not only a story of Sri Ram, it's much more than that. Incidentally, most of you would know that Valmiki's Ramayana and Ramcharitmanas are two different texts. The story of Sri Ram has been told by many scholars, many saints across centuries. And you would say, and in many languages. I mean, we have a very famous Kamban Ramayana in Tamil. Professor Madhusudan wrote it in Telugu. And of course, Karan sir always tells me how he grew up listening to stories from the Bhil Ramayana. And so this is Tulsidas Ji's version of the story of Ram, which is written in the Avdhi Bhasha, which was at that time really the lingua franca of the region. And this is perhaps the most popular text of Sri Ram's story across the Hindi belt. What I have tried to do is that pick up some of the jewels of wisdom that have been embedded in these two texts and see the commonality of these messages. So, Srimad Bhagavad Gita is in Sanskrit, as you would know, but this book, but Sri Ramcharitmanas is in the Avdhi Bhasha. To take an example, most of you would remember the shlok, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bharat abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam sajamham paritrana sadhuna vinashaya dushkritam dharm sansthapanaya sambhavami yuga yuge. Shlok 7 and 8 in Gita's chapter number 4. What the Lord here says, Lord Krishna says, is that whenever, jab dharm ki hani hogi, tab wo avatar lenge dharm ki sthapna ke liye aur vulnerable sections ki bachao ke liye. Now something similar, you would find in Ramcharitmanas, where Tulsidas Ji writes कि जब होए धर्म के हानि बाढ़ई असुर अधम अभिमानी करई अनीति जाए नहीं भरनी सीधे विप्र धेनु सुर धरनी तब प्रभुधर बनुज शरीरा हरई दयानिधि सज्जन पीरा. Exactly the same message, that जब धर्म की हानि होगी, जब knowledge, here Vipra is really representative of knowledge. Dhenu is really a representative of economics, prosperity. Sur is governance, and dharti is really environment. Whenever these four are under threat, the Lord will incarnate himself. That's the kind of mirroring of messages that you see in Gita and Shri Ramcharitmanas. Another one that I've quoted here is about Atma, which is, I mean, we all know that one of the main messages of Srimad Bhagavad Gita is that Atma Ajar Amar hai. And we find in 2.48 is the shlok number in chapter 2 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which says, Vasansi jirnani yatha vihai, navani grihnati naro aparani, tatha shrirani vihai, jirnanyani sanyati navani dehi. Which is, जैसे इंसान एक जीर्ण वस्त्र को त्याग कर नया वस्त्र धारण कर लेता है, वैसे ही आत्मा जीर्ण शरीर को छोड़कर नया शरीर धारण कर लेती है. Now, this is a message that all of us who study the Gita imbibe from the Gita. Tulsidas Ji puts it in a very simple language, because there was some kind of historicity which was ascribed to Sanskrit during that time. Now, what he also does is he weaves it into the story itself, and the concept, the philosophical message that he presents in Ramcharitmanas comes at a time when Bali, which was the monkey king, he was slain by Lord Ram, and his wife was grieving. So Lord Ram then tells her, "Ke kshitijal pavak gagan samira, panch rachitya hai adham sharira." He says this body is composed of the 5 elements. Kshitijal pavak gagan samira, panch rachitya hai adham sharira. And then he says, "Pragat sutantag aage sova, जीव नित्य के ही लगे तुम रोवा." कि अगर आपको शरीर से प्यार है तो वो शरीर तो सामने पड़ा है, उसमें तो कोई दिक्कत ही नहीं है. और अगर आपको जीव से प्यार है तो जीव तो नित्य है, आत्मा है, अजर अमर है. Now that's the kind of message that Tulsidas ji gives in a very simple language. Thereafter, what I've done is I've tried to pick up certain conversations that happened in Ramcharitmanas. One conversation is between Lord Ram and Vibhishan, which is called Vibhishan Gita. There is another conversation between Lord Ram and Lakshman, which is called Shri Ram Gita. Now, they don't really appear as chapters in Tulsidas ji's composition, but scholars and saints over years have sort of classified these conversations, given them these names. And then, of course, there is a very, this Shri Ramcharitmanas was a product of the Bhakti movement. So there's a lot of emphasis on Bhakti. Shri Ram gives the 9 forms of Bhakti, which is called Navdha Bhakti, and it is mirrored as chapter 12 in the Bhakti Yoga of Bhagavad Gita. That's also something that I have touched upon. And of course, we live in the land of gurus here. I've also dedicated 5 chapters to the Guru and the role of the Guru in our spiritual journey. Thank you so much for all being here. And I'm sure you'll find this book interesting. Please do let me know and give me a feedback. Thank you so much. Of course, I'm available in the author's lounge for signing of the book. Thank you so much.
और अपनी पुस्तक रिफ्लेक्शंस ऑफ रामसेवक के बारे में अनिरुद्ध तिवारी जी खुद बता रहे थे कि